The Federal Reserve announces their final capital requirements for all large banks effective on October 1st, which is exactly a month from now. Stay tuned because in this video, we're going to dive into the official press release stated on their actual website along with other critical details worth sharing and worth knowing. A centralized system with a currency backed by absolutely nothing will inevitably fail, with $35 trillion in debt, with the dollar losing 98% of its original purchasing power, while at the same time said dollar is quickly losing its status as the world's reserve currency, while other countries ditch their dollars to trade on their own terms, creating their own currencies actually backed by something, is a recipe for disaster depending upon where you live. It's absolutely crucial. Us living in the United States need to take action now and preserve our wealth into something that holds its value before it's too late. To no surprise, gold and silver is exactly what the other countries are backing their new currencies with. So let's see what's happening on October 1st and why you need to know.
Connection established.
Alright folks, if you want crucial information like this brought to you on a daily basis, which I highly recommend, especially with everything that's about to go down, then make sure you click subscribe. I will put in the hours of research per day and package it up in a shiny video for you. You don't got to do anything. Along with being a subscriber, you're entered in lots of silver giveaways that I do on this channel as well. Now, this article came out from the Silver Academy yesterday, titled Federal Reserve announces their final capital requirements for all large banks effective on October 1st, 2024, which is exactly a month from now. More gold backing to compete with BRICS gold-backed currency, which I briefly mentioned in the introduction. We're also going to be going over the actual document from federalreserve.gov as well. I will post both of these links in the description if you want to check them out. Make sure you like this video because this stuff needs to get out. So let's just go over some of the context and then we can look at the actual stuff. So just about a month ago, we predicted that the United States was not just going to sit back and allow BRICS to roll over them with their new gold-backed BRICS methods designed to compete with the US dollar, right? We already know they don't want Americans' greedy little fingers in their pockets anymore. Russia just completely detached from the dollar. They do not use dollars anymore. All those dollars will be getting sent back, basically just killing our dollar. The USD is very close to the brink of death. Every fiat-based system lasts around a century anyways. I think the dollar is the longest lasting one, but it's got to go and it's going to go. So they say that the Federal Reserve Board is on the verge of finalizing individual capital requirements for large banks. These new requirements are not just another set of rules, but intended to keep US dollars stronger against BRICS. They are set to take effect on October 1st. Now, this is very interesting. I thought, if anything, there would be a new currency with us as well, maybe switching to something like CBDC or, even the crypto route there. Banks are Ripple's owned by central banks. You have USD coin, USDC. You have Tether, which is pegged to $1. There's lots of different options. I actually recall about 2 years ago, Federal Chairman Jerome Powell stating that someday he could see a currency coexisting or even replacing the dollar at some point. He announced that himself. But what do you all think about this? Do you think that the United States is just going to continue to strengthen the dollar? I guess there's a lot at play, especially with, who's in office and, the route that goes. We also do have a lot of states in the United States trying to bring back the gold standard. I think there's like 3 or 4 that successfully have. I think 20-something have signed up. So we are also bringing back what once was, which at the downfall of it, getting rid of it, is exactly what led us into this situation in the first place. But anyways, the new capital requirements, crucial for the stability of the banking sector, are heavily influenced by the stress test results from earlier in the year. So standard equity tier 1 capital requirements include Point one, a minimum 4.5% requirement for all banks. Two, stress capital buffer of at least 2.5%. Potential capital surcharge for largest and most complex banks. Banks falling below requirements face automatic restrictions on capital distributions and bonuses. Goldman Sachs stress capital buffer adjusted to 6.2% from 6.4% after reconsideration request. And Federal Reserve Board committed to improving stress testing framework. Here are some additional notes. Earlier this year, the U.S. Bank underwent several stress tests to determine the capital requirements for compliance under a Basel III regimen, and the largest banks are required to fulfill these guidelines. Gold is included in the Basel III bank capital requirements as a Tier 1 asset, which we all know. Basel III Accord, implemented in 2019, requires banks to hold a significant portion of their capital in high-quality assets, including gold. Tier 1 capital is the most basic tier and measures a financial institution's financial strength, right? This is something that is very important on understanding why gold is considered a Tier 1 asset. It includes equity and common stock. Allocated gold is considered a Tier 1 asset, has zero risk weighting. This is because allocated gold is not considered part of the custodian bank's balance sheet. Unallocated gold is considered a Tier 3 asset and is subject to an 85% required stable funding, or RSF ratio. Purpose: the Basel III reforms were designed to enhance banking stability and reduce the likelihood of defaults during economic downturns. This means that on October 1st, our large banks will hold gold as reserves, considered a high-quality asset. Furthermore, it means that these banks will be capable of utilizing sound money. In other words, our large banks will be subject to utilizing hard currency such as gold as money. A gold standard is a financial system in which the value of a country's currency is fixed in relation to a specific amount of gold or linked to the currency of a country that does so. This is very important, right? This is very important. Gold is money. We determine how wealthy a country is on how much gold they have, not how many paper dollars they can print off, right? Well, there's other variables as well, but gold is money. So if we're starting to revert back to this, exactly what the BRICS are doing, like they mentioned at the beginning of this article, we're trying to compete with the BRICS. This could be interesting. This could get interesting. And for gold prices as well. And let me pause right there, for silver as well, right? With gold comes silver. The minimum capital requirement, which is the same for each bank, is 4.5%. The stress capital buffer requirement, which is based in part of the stress test result, is 2.5%. And if applicable, a capital surcharge for the largest and most complex banks, which is updated in the first quarter of each year to account for each bank's overall systemic risk. These new guidelines are intended to allow U.S. to become competitive with other countries in trade, such as the BRICS system. Our big banks work with our markets the most, and these new protocols will allow them to meet the new standards being applied in the global trade. This is interesting. As these new banking guidelines go into effect on October 1st, our banking system will learn to fulfill new obligations between themselves and their clients. From that point forwards, we will have a new form of liquidity that will enable us to adapt to the changes in our global economy. So this is looking like this could be a very big change for the better to at least give the United States still some stability, in I guess, not the dollar, because the dollar has lost all of its hope worldwide, but still have wealth to trade. Like they said, trading on the global stage, especially if all these other countries are accumulating massive amounts of gold and having their currencies backed by it. If we could mimic even a little bit of that, try to keep our head afloat, I don't think this is a fixable thing. I've never thought that. I never thought bringing back the gold standard was a possibility or realistic, but it did happen with a few states, so I could be wrong. We're living in crazy times, so expect very crazy things to happen. Here's the actual press release from federalreserve.gov. I will post this in the description as well. This was August 28th, so this was posted a few days ago as well. Everything I post is fresh off the press. That's why you got to stay subscribed, folks. I will always keep you in the loop. Federal Reserve Board announces final individual capital requirements for all large banks effective on October 1st. Following its stress test earlier this year, the Federal Reserve Board on Wednesday announced final individual capital requirements for all large banks effective on October 1st. Large bank capital requirements are informed by the board's stress test results, which provide a risk-sensitive and forward-looking assessment on capital needs. The table shows each bank's common equity Tier 1 capital requirement, which is made up of several components, including the minimum capital requirement of each bank's 4.5%. Remember, they're talking about gold and other things along, Tier 1 assets. The stress. So this is a good thing for at least us to have some stability or something backed. Now, of course, this is nowhere near. It's not like this is an end-all, be-all, fix-all situation, but it's looking like they are trying to test the waters and do something at least. Instead of just letting it all burn to the ground, which some say is probably the best option. Just have a complete reset and try something new. Who knows what the right option is? I don't think there is. I never say there's a solution. I say there's an alternative, and precious metals is the alternative, but trying to put the alternative back into the solution is, I don't think, realistic, especially when you look at, what the dollar's worth now and how much we're giving away, especially with no other countries wanting it anymore. Anyways, the bank's capital dips below its total requirement announced today. The bank is subject to automatic restrictions on both capital distributions and discretionary bonus payments. So we already went over that. So the board's focused continuously on improving the stress testing framework. To that end, the board will analyze whether to revise regulatory reporting to capture these types of data and explore possible refinements to certain model components. So it's looking like this will be a continuation of, tests of trying to see, what they can do. Remember, folks, Silicon Valley Bank failed 2 years ago. They got helped out, but next time I don't think that would be the case. I briefly remember them even mentioning that, imagine that on a larger scale. Talk about bailouts or bail-ins. This could be a very messy situation, especially with quantitative easing and just the amount of money that we are giving out, hundreds of billions. Now, like I said, depending upon who wins on November 5th could play a huge part in that, I guess, depending. There's so much going on. But, at the end of the day, this is a thing. It's happening October 1st. This could potentially change the markets. Maybe this could push gold higher. And so, because if gold goes higher, silver is going to go higher with it. So if people start to find out on October 1st this is happening, people might have more confidence in the dollar, which could actually hurt gold, or people understanding that banks are now going to be holding more gold as a safety net might make them also do the same. So we really don't know how it's going to go. Usually a stronger dollar means a weaker gold, right? There's a negative correlation, but who knows? Right? Who knows? Anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Make sure you subscribe. If you want to join the Secret Silver Society, I'm actually announcing the winner today of our giveaway on the Secret Silver Society. So I do 2 giveaways. We're doing the one, the Secret Silver Society is patreon.com/silverslayer. Every month on the 31st, we announce a winner, giving away some silver. This month's winner was picked on August 24th was the last day to guess whatever silver's closing price should be on August 30th. Whoever got the closest to guessing it to the nearest penny won. The month before that, we did a bucket pull. Just everyone's name was thrown in a bucket, and I picked someone's name out of the bucket. So every month there's going to be a new way to win silver. You guys can join on that as well. And there's like the members only discussion board. Or if you wanted to just purchase some of the shiny stuff instead of hopefully winning it, then you could email me, slayer@milesfranklin.com, or call me 330-485-6172. I will answer the phone. A lot of people don't know that. They were like, oh, I didn't think you'd actually answer the phone. Yeah, I do. I try to at least. And if I don't, I'll call you back, or you can text me. But yeah, I can take care of you. We have great prices right now, a lot better prices. I was looking online, and some people say that this website has the best deals, or that website, some very, very, very popular ones. I look on there, it says that their Eagles are as low as, 34 or something, but you go add to cart when you put, you have to buy 1 to 20, and it'll say like PayPal or credit card, and they're like $39 for an Eagle. So they promote it as 34 something, but that's only if you buy 1,500 or more and you have to use a check or wire to get that. And with us, I still can offer you cheaper Eagles than go on the best sites. I'm not going to say their names, but I could offer better prices than their lowest without you having to pay 1,500 plus or buy 1,500 plus coins and having to pay check or wire. It's insane. A lot of people, I guess, don't know our pricing, or they just assume that false advertising of seeing it's because it says in big blue or red letters 34, 34.55 or whatever under it. But that's not the real price. That's only if you buy 1,500 plus and use check or wire. Go on the actual coin, look at what it says when you're buying 1 to 20, which most people do, and paying with a card. It's $4 or $5 more than what they're advertising. So it's insane. They're ripping people off. I saw a tube of Eagles going for like $770. That's a ripoff. I could do that for $90 less than that. And this is the best site, by the way. I'm not gonna. These are the top sites that everyone says have the best prices. I could offer $90 less than the top sites, cheapest prices. It's insane. So anyways, yeah, you can email me. I'm just saying, it kind of bugged me because that's false advertising to promote it like that. Because, anyways, though, I'm going to wrap this video up here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is very important stuff. So yeah, check out these links. I'll post them in the description or the pinned comment. Thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. You better subscribe. I will see you tomorrow. Peace.